It is back to business for millions of children across the country now settled into their new school year. But now that we're back to embracing morning routines, we must also prepare ourselves for the inevitable, those dreaded back-to-schools illnesses. The pink eye, the flu. Schools can be hot zones for germs at the moment. But with us in studio to give us some tips on how you can arm yourself and your family with some simple preventative measures and knowledge about some of the most common back-to-school illnesses, our resident multimedia health specialist, Dr. Darren Green. Welcome back, Doc.
Thank you.
And of course, you guys make up a very important part of the conversation. Give us a shout. 083 9133 That is the number to dial. Maybe you've been a victim of a back-to-school illness. What are we talking about here? This seems like quite a scary thing. Should we be fearing going back to the communicable
Sounds like a syndrome,
space?
back-to-school illness.
What are we talking about
Yeah,
here?
the question is, the parents develop an illness as well, which is being hyper excited, hyper anxious about their children being exposed to mass classes, for example. I mean, the ratios differ from 1 to 15 all the way to 1 to 36. A lot of concentration of kids at sports events, classrooms, etc. So the big thing is, obviously, what is your child's immune system functioning at the moment, and how are you going to try and get it to a place where, you know, they develop a decent immunity against common bugs. So colds and flu right at the top of the list. Gastroenteritis, that's all I see at the moment in the ER. Basically diarrhea, vomiting, because it's summer. You have activation of a lot of viruses that cause diarrhea and gastro in summer. And then obviously food, the preparation of food, the meat, the lunch boxes that are not kept in fridges at schools, for example, and what you're putting on them. That carpaccio or that, you know, the ham or cold meat, whatever.
Did you get carpaccio at school?
No, not me, but people do now. So just saying that, you know, so looking at the prep and the storage of food at schools is big. And then, of course, the other things are involved around the hygiene practices at the different schools. Simply looking at the flow in terms of touching hand taps, for example. The big things in research that have been shown are the communal drinking fountains, and then, of course, the cafeteria trays that we use in computer centers. Well, the school can really apply some significant hygiene tips in reducing the load of exposure to some of the bugs.
I know you've touched on this. It almost seems counterintuitive. You expect winter to bring with it all of the bugs and the nasties, but we're seeing a massive influx in summer. Expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, so a lot of viruses are activated by heat. So some organisms enjoy, for example, warm, dark places. Other organisms are eradicated simply by direct sunlight, for example. Let's remember that a virus is something that can only survive when it's in a living host. As soon as it exits the living host, it can't survive. So, you know, saliva basically on a countertop that remains there for a certain time, the virus won't survive outside of a living host. Whereas bacteria, for example, can live quite a long time. So the practices around things like hand hygiene, etc., and sharing
anything,
a whole lot of utensils, stationery. And we all love biting the pen when we're thinking, don't we?
Yeah.
So those are some...
Makes you look far more intelligent.
Yes, of course. Concentration.
Doc, we're going to get into some of those common illnesses in just a moment, and then I think most importantly what we can do to prevent these things coming on. But of course, you guys make up a vital component of the conversation. Give us a shout. 083 9133 Is your child or you yourself a victim of back-to-school illness? We'd love to hear from you. Right now, though, let's hear what's coming up next.